You grew up watching a lot of superhero movies and TV shows and all these anime of very selfless characters, very competent individuals who would sacrifice their lives for others, who would do a lot to protect the people he cares about. And you want to be a hero too, in some way, right? You want to have some sort of impact on the world, or at least the people around you. You want to be someone that is valued and admired, and you want to be someone who's kind and someone who cares about other people, someone who's willing to go that extra mile. I remember in secondary school, watching a lot of these anime and superhero shows growing up. I wanted to be someone who can protect other people. I wanted to be a hero in some way. And so I prided myself on being a very selfless person. I promised myself that, I would protect these people I care about. And whenever I look at my mother, my sister, and really, really close friends, I think to myself, I would die for them. And I mean it. I'm pretty sure I mean it at least. And if you feel the same way, you look at certain people in your life that have shown you care despite all your shortcomings, despite every way that you are not good enough. They have cared for you and they have been kind to you and they have included you, even though you're made to feel kind of worthless at times. And you think to yourself, I want to die for these people. If it comes down to it, I would die and I would protect them. And it sounds very cringe, but you and I, we have this genuine thought. We have this genuine idea that we want to give everything to this person and we would not mind to protect them by giving our own lives. But let me ask you this. Instead of wanting to die for them, why don't you want to live for them? Why aren't you thinking of how you can obtain so much power, so much resource that by them just knowing you, they are able to live a life better than most other people or better than strangers? They'll be able to compare the value they've received from you to the value they've received from everyone else and think, this guy is the most generous, most charismatic, most kind, most giving, most competent and respectable individual I've ever met. And this guy, who I know has impacted my life in so many ways, he's made my life better, he's actually helped me, he's provided me value. Why don't you want to be that person instead? If you have the willingness, the will to die for somebody, why don't you have the willingness to live for them? Why aren't you driven by that? If you're somebody who can genuinely sit and tell himself that he can die for somebody else, it means that you probably have this kind of trauma that has convinced you that you need to be worth something to someone in order to deserve love. And that's why you've told yourself that the value you can provide is that you are willing to die for them. You care about the people that have shown you care so much, and you want to prove to yourself you deserve their love by telling yourself that you would die for them. I think that we should drive all of our will from that area into how we live as well. People like us, people who want to be something extraordinary, who want to provide so much value to another person, whereby we can actually tell ourselves that we deserve to be loved and live with ourselves, knowing that we are actually capable of providing real value to somebody else. People like us, we can't afford to sit around and doom scroll and play video games all day. As much as people will tell you to do it in moderation, when you do it, you sit there with anxiety. You look at your life, you feel directionless, you feel sad. You feel genuinely upset that you aren't someone who can actually provide value. You're afraid that, love is taken away from you. You're afraid that that person that you care about might see somebody else and find them more valuable in their life than you, who's more competent than you. You're secretly afraid of that, but you're not willing to fully sacrifice yourself, fully dedicate yourself into a purpose like providing so much value for somebody else. You're not ready for that yet. And I want to encourage you to lean into it. As much as this is driven by negative things like needing love and validation by being able to provide value, not only will you be able to actually provide more value to other people when you're more resourceful, actually become more generous, and gain so much more from life, because the good things you have in your mind don't become just intentions anymore when you've become confident enough to express it, confident enough to go out of your way to do things for other people, when you've become resourceful enough to actually be able to do those things that you want to do for other people. Sure, you might have some sort of, selfish intentions behind it. You might want to serve yourself with their admiration and their praise, but a huge part of you genuinely wants to provide that value. And relationships are always going to be transactional. All relationships are transactional. But you know what makes wonderful relationships? When they're transactional added on with something else. But fundamentally, all relationships have some sort of transaction. And I had a friend ask me this once when I was expressing how, I'm afraid that wanting to provide more value to people is actually fully a selfish desire, and I'm afraid of what that could mean about me. Does that make me a monster? Does that make me an asshole? Does that make me a selfish cunt who deserves to die? And this friend told me, if you're providing value to other people, why can't you have something yourself? Why can't you have something yourself? But I think in order for us to come to terms with that, in order for us to be okay and willing to accept that we deserve some things as well, we need to verify that the value we provide to others is actually tangible. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on actually making sure the value we can provide for us, for other people, actually serves some genuine worth, and actually made some impact, and actually, visibly, tangibly, physically, I don't know, whateverly, help somebody else. Like, we actually help their life and serve their life in some greater way. And the first step to do that is to completely come to terms with our intentions and what we want. We have to be honest with ourselves. A lot of it is self-serving, yes, but that's part of it. That's part of any other relationship. We want to do this just because we want to. We genuinely want to do this, self-serving or not. We want to provide value for other people. Now, how can we go around doing that? After we've come to terms with that, we have to really sit and zone in on becoming a more competent person and becoming more resourceful. We have to really let it rip, If you are still a child and you're not making money yet, it doesn't mean you can't provide any value for people. Of course, you could potentially be providing way more if you were resourceful, if you were financially free, and we will work on that, right? We will try to get there with what we know and what we think would be the best idea to. But right now, even without money, we can still provide value for other people. And we do that first by becoming somebody who's competent. You can become resourceful without just money itself. By being fit and jacked, you can provide value by teaching other people how to get fit and jacked. And not only that, you can provide value through status as well, which might sound superficial. But being fit and jacked, you express a level of status, it becomes easier to make friends, and from there people will want to get to know you more because you can help other people make more friends. It sounds superficial, I know, sounds fake, but it's a genuine piece of value. With being fit and jacked and being able to fight and shit like that, you also get more respect from other guys, because being fit and jacked and being able to fight is all facets of communicating power and control, and men respect that, men want that in their lives. And when you get more respect, you benefit the people you love, because there are more people willing to support you. You have more, and in that way, you have more resources. More respect means more resources. By improving your mental health, you are also improving your resources, because you have more capacity to sit with other people and help them through their emotional dumps and their emotional slumps, and really sit there with them. Having the mental capacity to put aside your own problems, to sit there and listen to somebody else, is something so magical and so underrated, and can provide so much value to anyone. Another way you can gain more resources is to develop your knowledge. Imagine if you knew so many things that everyone who knows you will be able to gain something from you, and by giving you, be able to gain something back from them as well if they have any knowledge to share. By being incredibly knowledgeable, by knowing how to get your work done, maybe in school, maybe at home, being able to be competent enough to solve general problems, to be competent enough to finish your own tasks and responsibilities with efficiency, with prowess, and getting everything you do done well and on time will serve other people as well. I started to see how you can be resourceful and genuinely impact other people's lives by just developing yourself holistically. And not only that, becoming more socially confident, becoming more charismatic, and social skills sound like something that would just develop yourself. And it probably is, it serves your selfish desires, but That's also another form of resource, because as you make more friends, you have more friends to introduce to other people, which could bring more company into their lives, more fun, more fulfillment, more meaningful relationships. Those are forms of resource as well, and these will sound very superficial as I say it on its own, but when I start to tell stories, when I'm able to give you a specific story about how introducing somebody, helping someone else make friends by your own popularity can actually benefit another person's life so much, then you start to believe how resourceful these little things actually are. If you want to be a hero like I do, if you want to make an impact on other people's lives, you have to really think, what value can you provide? What resources can you have? Because, right now we are trying to make our business work. It's not blossoming very well, but we have many other facets of resources that we can give to other people, many other areas of development that we can also work on as we build on our financial resource. If you're somebody who wants to provide a shit ton of value to other people, we can't afford to sit here and think that, oh yes, everything in balance, everything in moderation. If you can die for somebody, you may as well be able to live committed to the idea of providing value to other people, because that's what you truly want. And you don't have to die to achieve that. You want wonderful relationships, you want to be admired, respected, and building competence, becoming more resourceful as a person is exactly how you do that. So this is your reminder to really get at it. You are serving a purpose. You are doing something meaningful when it comes to gaining resources, even if it's for yourself, because it means you have more liberty, more capacity to provide for others. So don't ever feel ashamed for 1 second that you are investing in yourself. And keep in mind, as you invest in yourself with the intention of wanting to provide value for the people you care about, you are making an impact, even in the littlest way. Because when I have somebody around me that is emotionally competent, that is socially competent, that is socially confident, that is well-spoken, that has the emotional capacity to listen to me and sit with me and help me out, it impacts my life in such a beautiful way, and I'm so grateful for people like that. I have a friend who's not very competent in other areas of his life, but whenever I speak to him about my problems, whenever I genuinely need someone to speak to, I call the same person every single time, because he sits and actually listens to me. Just something so simple from listening, something so simple like genuinely wanting to learn what someone else is going through and what you can add to it, and being involved with the stories they're telling you and wanting to genuinely think of some good advice to give them, or genuinely just, really just take in what they're saying and share their experience with them through their words, is something that someone can benefit so much from. And these people, like, even the concept of just being able to listen is able to save someone's life. Even the general concept of being able to introduce a friend to somebody else because you are popular, because you are socially competent and socially confident enough to make a shit ton of people and know a shit ton of people, to be able to connect them, being able to do that, you're able to save someone's life. Just like that, being fit and jacked and being able to fight and inspiring somebody else to dedicate their lives to a purpose like that, being able to coach them through it, being able to teach them the things you know and inspire them in the way you do, you might have just saved someone's life. So all these little things, all these little endeavors that we partake, even if it's for selfish reasons, we are arming ourselves with skills that could change somebody's lives, that could add to other people's lives, that could provide value to other people. Having emotional capacity to mediate in your family when your father's being abusive, to care for your mother when she's feeling some level of emotional neglect, to be there for your younger siblings when the parents aren't very emotionally available. Just focusing on your mental health alone is providing a shit ton of resources to other people. So again, instead of thinking of wanting to die for someone, why don't you live in commitment to building resources, to dedicating yourself to becoming someone ridiculously valuable? even if it means it serves yourself, because you might just change someone else's life and you'll definitely be providing 100 times more value than you would if you were to sit there and spend your time playing video games, doom scrolling and watching hentai all the time. And I think that people would rather you live for them than die for them. Let me know if this video helped you. Genuinely, I need to know because I want to know if I'm able to provide value as well. Honestly, I'm building a place where I know where I put everything.
Are you busy?
Yes.
Okay, please, like, take a second to move the fridge, Mom. She's gonna injure herself.
When duty calls.
Yeah, no. Hurry up before she injures herself. She's like determined to do it herself.
If you want access to basically everything I know in video courses, plus an access to a community of like-minded people who think like you and me, link is in the description below. No pressure at all. It's easy to sacrifice for other people when you have nothing to sacrifice. If you have the will to die for somebody, why don't you have the will to live for them? So live really, really hard. You know, really, really put your best into living. And when you put that will that you have to die for another person into living for everyone, for yourself as well, the competence you build, the commitment you have, you'll be unmatched. You got this. I love you. It's a better work.